Alright mga kaugat, si Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia ay hindi sumunod sa nais ipatupad ng IATF. Pwede pala yun, mga kaugat, ano? Lalo pat, apektado tayong mga ordinaryong mamamayan sa ganitong sistema. Ang hindi pagsakay lang sa mga public utility buses or jeepneys or iba pang sasakyan ay talagang sobrang pahirap sa atin yan. At kasama pa dito ang hindi katatanggapin sa iyong trabaho dahil wala kang vaccination card. Pero mabuhay ka, Governor Gwen Garcia, dahil isa ka sa hindi sumunod dahil may ipinaglalaban tayong batas na ginawa ng mga mambabatas noong isang taon. Ano ito? Itong Republic Act 11525 na ipinaglalaban ni Governor ng Cebu City. Pakinggan natin si Governor Gwen Garcia.
There have been a lot of questions regarding the segregation of the vaccinated and the unvaccinated individuals, going so far as warnings even to barangay captains who are unvaxxed. But I think it is time for us to go back to Republic Act 115251, which is an act establishing the coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 vaccination program, expediting the vaccine procurement and administration process, providing funds therefore and for other purposes. So this is otherwise known as the National Vaccination Law. This was signed passed by both houses and signed into law by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, February 26, 2021. Section 12. Section 12, letter G. The issuance of a vaccine card is intended to be digital but shall remain accessible through other means such as printed cards. The DOH, through the Department of Information and Communications Technology, shall develop the LGU-based digital systems and applications that will meet the objectives of the COVID-19 vaccination program while maintaining quality, safety, ease of use, and accessibility for all Filipinos, provided that the DOH shall maintain a central database of vaccinations and mandate a uniform format for the vaccination card, the contents of which shall be updated accordingly to always conform with globally accepted standards. Now, and this is very important because it is in the law itself, provided further that the vaccine cards shall not be considered as an additional mandatory requirement for educational, employment, and other similar government transaction purposes. Let me repeat that. Provided further that the vaccine cards shall not be considered as an additional mandatory requirement for educational, employment, and other similar government transaction purposes. I think the law is very clear. How else can we interpret this other than saying that there should be no mandatory requirement of vaccine cards so that people may enter establishments, may enter schools, may go to work, or may enter government buildings or avail of government services. It's very clear. So I cannot understand why this movement towards now discriminating against the unvaccinated by refusing even their boarding of public buses, airplanes, and other means of transportation, as well as insisting, as a mayor now has complained to me, that teachers should show their vaccine cards before they can enter their own schools. This is the law. And unless this law is amended, even the COVID-19 vaccination program law states that the vaccination card shall not be a mandatory requirement so that people may avail of educational as well as other government processes, or even may avail of employment. This is very interesting. The following paragraph states, individuals vaccinated against COVID-19 as indicated in the vaccine card shall not be considered immune from COVID-19 unless otherwise declared by the DOH based on reliable scientific evidence and consensus. Well, I don't think there really now is unquestionable proof that vaccinated individuals are immune because, well, we are now seeing that with this Omicron virus variant, in fact, it is the vaccinated that are getting the symptoms. I think we are starting to get confused in treating the unvaccinated as the carriers of this virus. If, in fact, the vaccinated are not considered immune and therefore may also catch this virus, if they catch it, as they are now catching it, are they not as well carriers? So why there is this discrimination against the unvaccinated? The DOH guidelines under Administrative Order 001. No, this is the Department of Health, the National Task Force Against COVID-19 or NTF guidelines dated March 26, 2021. This is under letter J, number 8. The vaccine card shall not be considered as an additional mandatory requirement for educational, employment, and other similar government transaction purposes. An exact quote of Section 12, letter G of Republic Act 115251. So let me make this very clear. From my interpretation of the law, which has proven itself to be stated in very clear terms and has no ambiguity whatsoever, there can be no mandatory requirement of vaccination cards for entry to any establishment, whether these be schools, whether these be government buildings, whether this be places of work or for other purposes. And here, in the province of Cebu, yes, we have put up border checkpoints. I want to also clarify this. When the news came out, after the IATF declared an alert level 3 for Cebu province, I said that insofar as the guidelines would conform with our efforts at recovery from Odette, Typhoon Odette, then that's okay. But if these clash, then it will have to be Cebu first. We will have to first focus on our rehabilitation and recovery after the devastation of Typhoon Odette. And so I said, there will be no lockdown, just to be very clear, and there will be no border controls. However, the PNP, particularly the Cebu Provincial Police Office, set up border checkpoints. I think a news outfit mistakenly reported it as border control. No, there's a huge difference between border checkpoints and border control. Border checkpoints are put up, first of all, in compliance with COMELEC directive that during the official campaign period, these checkpoints shall be set up. And these checkpoints further will be re-implementing. It had been put on hold after we were devastated by Typhoon Odette. But we'll be again re-implementing Executive Order 35 and 35B, which mandates the no overloading, a controlled capacity for all buses, opening of windows, no aircon, and the need for the provincial utility vehicle pass, as well as the trip tickets that are issued by the provincial terminals, north and south. These are the items that are checked, including the wearing of face masks and air purifiers for our drivers. Those are the things that will be checked, but there will be no further requirement.
Gwen Garcia.
There will be no further requirement like the presentation of the vaccination card. That is anti-poor. How can you require everyone to have this vaccination card presented for them to avail of public transport? As I have always said, vaccination is a matter of choice. Give that respect to the individual. It's a matter of choice.
Mga kaugat, kung kaya pala ito sa Cebu, bakit hindi kaya sa ibang probinsya? Bakit mananatili tayong bingi-bingihan, bulag-bulagan sa tunay na pwedeng maging epekto nitong ipinapasunod nilang mandato? Sana po'y may naintindihan tayo. Salamat sa inyong pagpa-follow at pagbo-views. Mabuhay kayo, mga kaugat.